Okay, so we've looked a little bit at using formal meditation techniques to develop some mindfulness, but that's not the only way we can practice. Meditation is a really powerful way to develop mindfulness, and I strongly recommend it. But it's not the only way to practice. There are lots of other things we can do as well. The shortest formal meditation practice, if you like, based on the breath counting we did earlier, is just to take a single breath. So if you find yourself in the middle of the day and things are getting a bit stressful, you need a little bit of a reset, close your eyes and just take one mindful breath. Breathe in, really feel the breath coming into the body. Breathe out, really feel it. As much as you can, just be with the physical sensations of the breath at that time, letting go of the thoughts, the worries, the planning, whatever else is going on. Just for one breath, breathe in and out. Then open your eyes again and go back to what you're doing. Hopefully, even in the midst of fairly difficult situations, you still have time to breathe. And if you can just bring your attention back to the breath, just for a single breath, it can help to reconnect you with your meditation practice, with the mindfulness, with whatever sense of peace and openness that you start to find in your practice. You can also do your everyday activities in a mindful way, and this is a really nice way to start bridging the gap between formal meditation on the one hand and daily life on the other hand. Because meditation's lovely, we're sitting still, we're not moving around, there's not much going on, we can really focus. Daily life is a bit different to that, right? There's stuff going on all directions, there's phones ringing, there's people talking to us, there's all manner of things happening. So, trying to approach some of our daily activities in a mindful way can really help to bridge the gap between the two, to start bringing the benefits of our mindfulness meditation practice into our lives. So some things to think about. Think about things that you do pretty much every day which don't take a lot of thought. Things that have become automatic. Things like maybe brushing your teeth, washing the dishes, loading the dishwasher, taking a shower, getting dressed, all these kinds of things. They're not really kind of high brain power activities, they just sort of happen. So pick one of these activities, and for the next few days, try to do that one activity as mindfully as you can. What do I mean by that? Well, going back to the definition, paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So let's say we're going to brush our teeth. Normally we might get the toothbrush and the toothpaste and just start hacking away at it, and then while thinking about something else, and then sometime later we're done and we forget about the whole thing and move on. Instead, you could approach it as a mindfulness practice. So, picking up your toothbrush and really feeling the texture of the brush in your hand. Getting the toothpaste tube and again, feeling that as a physical object. As you put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, looking at the shape and the texture. As you start brushing your teeth, really feeling the brush on the gums moving around inside the mouth. So as much as you can, being present for the physical experience of brushing your teeth. Similarly for washing the dishes, whatever else, trying to stay as focused as you can on the actual physical experience, moment to moment, of whatever it is you're doing. And just as with the meditation practice, the mind's going to wander, there's nothing wrong with that, that's part of the practice. Just bringing the mind back to whatever you're doing again and again. Something else that you can do, which a lot of people find is a really nice way to bring a bit of happiness into their lives, is to do a daily gratitude exercise. Now this one is a little bit different, because what I'm going to ask you to do here is, maybe at the end of each day, something like that, think back over the day and pick out maybe 3 or 4 things that you feel grateful for. They don't have to be big things, they can be whatever you like. But just noticing a few things that you experience some gratitude for. You can either write them down, or tell them to somebody else, or just keep them in your head, whatever you like. Now, given that I said mindfulness is all about present moment awareness, it's maybe not so obvious how the gratitude exercise plays into that. But what you'll tend to find is that as you get used to noticing little things to be grateful for, you'll start picking them up more during the course of the day as well. You'll actually be a bit more switched on to what's going on in your daily life. Because on some level, your brain kind of knows there's a test coming at the end of the day, right? You're going to have to think of a few things to be grateful for, which means you better start noticing them. So it kind of switches the brain on to be a little bit more attentive to things that you might feel grateful for. It helps to keep you a little bit more mindful as you go through the day. And it means that you tend to notice the good stuff a little bit more than you otherwise might. Our brains actually have a bias towards the negative because it's a survival mechanism, right? We need to notice things that are threats, that are dangerous, that might harm us in some way. It doesn't matter quite so much from a survival perspective to notice the good stuff. But actually, if we do notice the good stuff, then it tends to make us feel better. So doing this gratitude exercise can be a nice, subtle way to, to thread some mindfulness into the day, to start spotting things to be grateful